Hi, welcome to this little personal update on issues with an Audi RS4 B8, 2014 to be precise. I reversed out the driveway 2 days ago and had a pull over, check coolant warning light come up on the dashboard quite quickly. So I'd only just pulled out of the garage, so I turned the car off, went to it and checked it, and being a very dark black bottle with no visual through the side, I'd actually run low on water and didn't realise. So I went and got some water to actually top up, although I usually did antifreeze. I thought I'd put something in it for now just to get it topped up. And on putting my fingers in to try and find out where we were with the water, found very, very black, thick sludge, which I'll show you in a second. I've looked all over line, can't find anything about really the RS4 in particular, but Audi, if there is oil within the water, then you have some form of coolant leak. Obviously in and around potentially oil cooler. So I don't know if it's oil cooler. You know what these cars are like, you can't see anything anyway, so you can't see where the coolers are, you can't see the pipes. It's bloody hard. So I have already stripped down the underneath, the bumper, etc., to have a quick look, see if I can see anything, and nothing so far. So I put it all back together again. But on thinking tonight, I thought I'd at least take the actual bottle out and give that a flush through and just see if I could try and obtain really where it's coming from. So I don't know if you guys could help me in the comments below in the meantime. Obviously I'm going to update as I go, but if you could update if you've had any experience with this and what you found out it was. Is there an oil cooler located on the transmission stroke gearbox? If so, where is it? Help me with that. Obviously I know there's one potentially on the side of the engine. Again, I can't confirm for the RS4, but on some of the other Audis, just down on this side, the left-hand bank, there's an oil cooler down the front, which I'm assuming there is on this, but again, you can't see it from here, not without taking everything out the front, bumper off, radiators out, so you can actually get to see the front of the engine. So no information on about the RS4 really. There's a few people that have done some RS5s. I found one RS5 and it does look like there's an oil cooler there, very similar to the standard Audis. And obviously at the very front here, you have the where the radiators are, you've actually got an oil rad at the bottom as well. So what I'm trying to find at the moment is what oil cooling system does the RS4 have that is cooled by the coolant. The front one down here, for instance, I'm under the impression that is just oil only, and it revolves around attracting air in the front to try and cool the oil down. The oil cooler on the side of the engine, however, on bank left, that, however, as far as I'm aware, has some form of water feed to cool down the oil. And is there one on the gearbox? And also, is there a way that by looking at the sludge that's in here, is there a way of determining whether it's transmission fluid or whether it's engine fluid? Obviously, if you could try and determine that, at least it'll be able to steer me in the right direction. So let me know in the comments below if you know anybody that's had this problem before, or you've had the problem yourself. What was it? It sounds like to me it is going to be the oil cooler, but again, it's a lot of work to do to try and get that done, and in the meantime I need the car to be drivable until I can get that part in and get it sorted. So again, what do you recommend on flushing the system through, making sure it's clear, heat, duration, miles, etc. Obviously I don't want it to overheat, that's for sure, and it seems to be doing okay under the circumstances, but obviously it is going to land up getting worse, so I need to get that repaired as soon as possible. So anyway, if you could help me in the comments below as to whether you've had this issue before, it would certainly help me steer in the right direction. In the meantime, I have ordered an oil cooler with a view to stripping this out and getting that changed. I think that's what it's going to be. That's my gut feel. But yeah, hit me in the comments below and I'll update you as and when I go in a second. Certainly want to start stripping out and show you the sludge that's coming out. Okay, sludge fest. I'll show you a little bit of a dip in a minute to show you that. So I've started off by taking these off, obviously. There's a bolt here, there's a nut here, and I've got to try and now get down there and get this undone and the tube off, which obviously means it's going to pee everywhere. So yeah, not ideal. I've actually got something to try and trap as much of it as possible down there, but there's going to be no real way of actually getting this out without sucking that out before I take this off. The water is, say water, if you can call that water, it's technically going to go everywhere, isn't it? So let me just quickly show you a dip test. As you can see, not pretty. So it's definitely got something, I mean, look, the deeper you go, the worse it is. So, yeah, not looking pretty, is it? I'll put that down there. So that's where I am. I need to try and get that out, and I don't know how much of it is. Is it quite a bit? Is it all of it? Is it just the top piece? It looks like the whole thing is full. So, wish me luck, guys. Okay, so we're a little bit further down the line and things look a little bit different. It's bloody hot here, by the way. I'm in Barbados and the weather is pretty hot, even though it's 20 to 6 at night. So anyway, to get the water and the reservoir out, I've had to strip a little bit more off than I anticipated. So I'll spin it around and physically show you where I am, and then I'll also show you what I've done so far. Okay, so we now have no front bumper, we have no light. In order to get the reservoir out of here, I thought about just releasing some space here, but this just doesn't come out. I don't know how. I mean, now I've released a bit of space, it might be more obvious, but from what I can see, there seems to be a rivet here, so there's a screw right down the back here, but there's also two right down here, which I can't even get anywhere near. Yeah, so I'm assuming there's two there. So in order to get that out, it's really hard to get to, but that would have given me the space needed. But however, releasing the light does mean I had the space to try and push the thing down, get this tube here off, which I will put a Jubilee on there because this bloody thing. Getting to that was the problem. If I could have actually got a Jubilee undone and pulled that off, the whole thing could have come up easily, but I've had to strip out all of this, mainly because of that stupid clip. One thing I've noticed by taking the bumper off is we do have a few clips that are broken, screws that are missing, so this has definitely had some form of work on the front at some stage. I mean, there's some damage here where it's obviously hit something at the front as well, it's never been straightened. So it's definitely having a few little bits on the front. So annoying that whoever did it hasn't had the decency to put some of the screws and bolts back. There's two screws here that hold the bumper on. They weren't even on this side, but this side was. It was a real pain in the ass to get off. Again, there's two here. So they fit in here, these two screws. You just about to see them. Two nuts come up and hold that on, and the bumper goes in there as well. So I'm under the impression, I might be wrong, but I was under the impression that I had to undo those to get the actual bumper off. So fingers crossed I didn't do that in vain, because what I actually did do is leave this in, and trying to do that with doing that was difficult. As you can see by the state of this, I mean, once it's off, I'm going to get it outside, I'm going to give it a soak, and I'm going to jet wash the whole thing, because it's definitely seen better days, that's for sure. So anyway, what I've done in the meantime, I've obviously taken that bottle off. I've caught most of the water down here. I've taken the bottle out here to give it a rinse through, and this is technically what I had inside, so it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. I thought I was going to have loads. So I've given it a rinse through, and then I've used the carburetor cleaner and given it a good shake out, and now we seem to be reasonably oil-ish free. It's certainly not perfect, that's for sure, but I didn't want to go doing any more on that until I could actually go back and establish where we are with the car itself. From my point of view, in an ideal world, now I'm at this stage, if I had the part, I would continue stripping this front piece off here and I'd change the part, but I don't have it. So I'm in a bit of a catch-22 now. Do I just clean this up, trying to give it a bit of a detail, and then at some stage order the part and get all this back off again? Or do I actually land up doing this as it is now? But it's going to take me a while to get the part, that's for sure. And you still can't even see it. Can't see anything at all down there. So as far as I'm aware, it's down here on the front of the, on the side of the engine here. So the only way to get to it is through this piece here. So thin rad, medium rad, they would need to come out in order to get anywhere near it. This is the leak I'm actually having at the moment. So this is the leak I'm actually having on the oil cooler. It's coming around here. I'm assuming, never assumed, but I'm assuming it's coming from here. So I would say that I could probably get away of undoing this and putting a new seal in there, and that would probably stop that, I would have thought. But I'm going to jet wash it and assess it. In an ideal world, if it wasn't so expensive, I'll just replace it. Again, it looks like it's seen better days. But I think that oil that's seeping around here is just because that has not been attached properly. So again, it does mean draining the oil out, obviously, but I can take that off, put a new seal in there, and that should solve that one. And after it's jet washed, it shouldn't come back. Horns, I've got a couple of problems with my horns, and judging by this, that's probably the reasons why. So yeah, I've got dual horns. Occasionally it goes to single horn, but This is all rattly, and as you can see, it's a rivet. So the two rivets are loose, certainly the top one. Whether I can actually get some form of nut and bolt through there or not, I do not know, but that will certainly tighten that up. And then I just need to take all these fittings off, lubricate them up, grease them, and get it put back together again so it doesn't keep on doing it. But again, now that's off, that's worth doing. The other thing when I was looking at the actual horns themselves, I couldn't find anywhere that told you where the horns actually were. So now I've done it, I've obviously can see there's one on this side, which again is definitely fixed better. And this one obviously that's, so again, I don't know which one of the two is actually loose and making the single horn sound, but I'll take both off, lube them up, grease all the actual connections, get them put back on again. This one's okay. Looks like someone's actually riveted these on themselves at some stage in the past. So this one needs to be redone, that's for sure. So yeah, this one is definitely loose. I'll get that one done. Either re-rivet it or put a nut and bolt in there. And that will certainly stop that. So I'll assume it's this one. Bear in mind it's rattling around all the time. It's probably this one that's causing the problem. Rad's okay on this side, but again, all I'm going to do with a good brush out and a jet wash, which I will do later on. I'll get the car fired, I'll get it out in the driveway and give those a good down glue over. Again, Jesus, I've seen some better days, that's for sure. Anyway, pretty much where we are so far. I'm not going to put anything back together again until I've actually given it a good rinse out. Then we'll put it back together again and we'll see what happens with that. Such a shame I can't get that part. If I could get the part, I could get it done whilst we're at it, but putting it back together again and undoing it again is going to be unfortunate what I'm going to have to do. So I hope this helps anyway. If it does help, please give me a like and subscribe below. There are a few guys on YouTube with RS4s and RS5s, but no one's doing this. So fingers crossed, this will we'll get to the bottom of what's actually causing it, and it will be a video that will be able to help other people. As I say, this is oil in the coolant, not coolant in the oil. And at the moment, from what I can see, it looks like it's going to be the oil cooler, which is the little tiny unit on the side of the engine, not the big one across the front. If it's not that, then it's going to be some form of cooler, oil cooler, for the transmission. Again, like I said in my previous comments earlier, if anybody knows if there is actually an oil cooler on the transmission, if you could let me know in the comments below, tell me where the hell it is, tell me how to get to it, and tell me where I can get a price on it. That would be much appreciated, because it could also be that as well. Fingers crossed it's not. But anyway, I'll update you as and when I finish this.